Sis, I don't know what to do anymore. I mean, school's over, winter's over. What do we do?
Maybe we should go paint a continent. Maybe we should go find Frankenstein's brain. Or you know what? Let's just celebrate the fact that we don't have to do testing anymore.
Yeah, that's a good point. Our brother still has testing.
You know what we can do, right?
What?
We should drive him insane.
Yes. No. Not during testing.
You're right. He's taller than us anyway. He could kick our ass.
Yeah, he's a football player too.
Well, we could watch baseball, but considering the fact that I play lacrosse, and lacrosse is a very high-paced sport.
Oh, golf is very high-paced too.
Oh, I bet. Baseball's like watching paint dry.
Ever since I got into hockey, I can't sit down and watch a baseball game anymore.
Maybe we should just go watch paint dry instead.
Yeah, maybe, but that's boring. We need something to have fun and just, I don't know, be ourselves.
You know, ready, set, go? I think I got the perfect idea for the two of us.
And what is that? Would you like some spez?
Well, I think we should greet the audience first.
Okay.
Welcome to Twin Hockey Talk. So, unfortunately, this show comes with a warning. Sorry, Bobby, but you wanted us to be creative. Unfortunately, the result is a ton of shenanigans.
What are you talking about, shenanigans? This is a serious hockey show.
Oh, really? So serious. So serious that the only stats we use are wins, losses, overtime losses, Stanley Cup playoff rankings, points to get into said playoffs, and whoever wins the cup. That's 6 statistics we're using. Tell me we're not going to run into some issues here. And also some awards as well. But that's later on once the award finalists have been named. And
They have been named.
oh,
We'll talk about that in a later episode anyhow.
that's not for tonight's episode. Okay, once the awards are awarded. There.
Yeah!
Makes
Yay!
sense. So for tonight's episode, since there were 30 teams, then 16, then 8, then 4, and now there are 2 teams left. Let's compare them, and we'll tell you a little bit about both of our favorite teams in a highlight reel that's all inclusive, all the highs and hopefully more highs, and none will be lows. Anyway, I should introduce myself. I'm hashtag would you like some spaz, and she is hashtag Renee Set Go. We will also use our real names once we get into some deep conversations.
And we'll probably use nicknames too, so.
We'll tell you more about them.
Yeah.
You guys should figure it out. I am the Alpha Twin, aka not Shannon.
And the person holding the camera, I'm horrible at selfies, so I'm not gonna do it. I am not Christina, aka Renee Set Go.
And welcome one and all to Twin Hockey Talk.
Yay!
Woo!
What do you think about the Sharks? What helped them?
Well, you know what? I have to say they came in with this chip on their shoulder, like that underdog mentality. And nobody expected them to be here. Correct me if I'm wrong. They were either a second or a third ranked. See, I know they didn't get first.
No, they did not.
I think, were they 2? Because they were facing LA, right?
They were.
Okay, so they had to be 2?
No.
Yeah, because it was 1. Yeah. They were either 2 or 3.
As you can see, we still can't read brackets well, but.
Oh no. But they just came in there with that. We weren't expecting to make it this far. And they played Nashville, who also had that underdog mentality, and they defeated them.
Sadly.
Yeah, well, whatever. And, Brett Burns, Joe Thornton, Martin Jones, they were all key players. Like Brett Burns, that guy is lit.
Not literally, I mean, he's really good for those viewers who don't quite understand the modern language.
Nope. I don't use it a whole lot, but yeah. So I think that their key there was they came in at the right time. There wasn't a bad game for them. Like there might have been like a bad period, but there was never that. Oh my gosh, this game was horrible, and then the momentum would carry on, and no, there was never a sequence like that with the Sharks. Whereas with the Blues, they struggled.
I think one of the issues with the Blues was that they relied on too few players. They relied on a few players rather than saying it's a team effort. Another issue that I saw with the Blues is the goaltending of, well, do we go with Allen? Do we go with Elliott?
Yeah, that's the one thing that really stood out to me for the Blues. And I didn't really get the chance to watch the whole series, but I'd always catch up on the news. But it was either, oh, Allen's doing great. Oh, no, he had a bad period or whatever. Oh, no, Elliott had a bad period. They were just in this goaltending conundrum, which was the Stars' struggles the second round. So I was hoping they'd learn from our struggles.
They did.
And, well,
history repeats itself, folks.
That history we're doomed to repeat it. So that, I mean, they did have some pretty amazing plays, I'm not gonna lie.
No, not at all.
And what can you do about that? The Sharks are they are the hottest team in the NHL.
I think that the momentum that they have from that series will only help them get the cup.
Yeah, and I'm totally rooting for the Sharks all the way.
Yep, the
I know,
Sharks.
you guys bring it home to the SAP Center.
Mm-hmm.
Bring it back to the Shark Tank, all right? So let's move on to
The East.
the East.
Lightning versus
The
Penguins. I was going to say Pittsburgh.
That makes sense. Lightning versus Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, it was just like this one text my dad sent me. He was listening to the radio. And he said, the Predators are up 2-0 on Nashville. And I kind of sat there and went, what?
Excuse me? Yeah.
Really? Wow. But,
I couldn't blame him.
so, what do you think was the issue with Tampa? Because I was rooting for them in this series.
Oh, yeah. So
Sorry,
was I.
Pittsburgh fans.
I mean, for me, the Eastern Conference Finals, it was whoever wins. Both of these teams equally deserve it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a problem with either team, And I think Tampa's problem was they were putting in, an experience.
Okay. So, Eastern Conference Finals. Pittsburgh Penguins versus Tampa Bay Lightning. Pittsburgh won.
In 7 games.
So, both of us were rooting for the Bolts. So, we'll start.
No, I disagree with you there a little. Time out. For me, the Eastern Conference Finals, I was happy for either team. Like Tampa, they deserve to go back. And Pittsburgh does as well. I mean, it's not the dreaded Rangers. It's not the Flyers. It's not like...
Please don't say any more of those teams.
I don't even know any more teams than that.
But,
so it was somebody different. And I totally respect both teams because they both gave it their all, and you can't
teach that.
Sure, you can go that direction.
Sorry.
So, yeah, what do you... I think one of the Tampa Bay's biggest... Call it whatever you want. One of their biggest setbacks was Ben Bishop being injured.
For sure, because...
And their captain as well.
Steven Stamkos. Stamkos has been out a while with a blood clot, and for me...
okay, then I totally...
Yeah,
cool
so
with
it's not, oh, my knee hurts, I'm not going to play tonight. Sorry, we we'll make fun of injuries. But it was because of a legit injury, and he wasn't just out this whole playoff series. He was out for the last good chunk of the season. So they keep their playoff spot without a key player.
To make it this far, even
Exactly, because Stamkos only played
tonight's game, so well, at least he got in. It was kind of a last-ditch effort by the Lightning to try and spark something. I mean, the triplet line, I'm not complaining. They did pretty good for themselves, they thought.
I think one of the flaws with the Lightning in this series was the offense burned hot and cold.
Oh, yeah.
Hot, cold.
Yeah, because they would like kill it for 2 or 3 periods, even 4 periods in a row to extend, and then, oh, we're playing hockey, not lacrosse. We're not going to shoot. And that was the struggle tonight in Game 7, because out of 17 shots, they only made 17 shots on net.
That's pretty low.
Yeah, and the Pittsburgh Penguins backup goalie, he made 16 out of 17 saves. Yeah.
That's pretty phenomenal.
But they didn't get a lot of looks as well.
For sure. For sure. I mean, it's tough when the offense isn't working, or is it going as well. The defense, I mean, no offense, Tampa fans. I haven't heard much about your defense. So
your defense was a little rocky.
And it seems like the team relies on the offense, and I think that's what killed them.
See, they were kind of like the version of the Stars, because I think it was before we moved on to the second round. Well, let's see if offense can win championships. And truly, it's not just offense. It's not just defense. It's both. You have to have that balance. Yin and yang, you know?
Yeah, you know how, like,
silence and noise, you know? Dark and light. You just gotta have that nice balance in between these two. And when they come together, you have an amazing team that's brought up from it. So now we move on to the Stanley Cup Finals. Our next conversation will be about that. So now we have the San Jose Sharks and the Pittsburgh Penguins. What do you think will be the Sharks' Achilles heel?
The Sharks' Achilles heel. Now, I'll probably use this phrase throughout more episodes, but I call it a fatal flaw. What a fatal flaw is, and if you look at NHL Fans 365's podcast, you'll hear me say this phrase. A fatal flaw is something that won't destroy a team, it won't kill a team, but it could turn a really close game into a blowout, basically. And the fatal flaw for the San Jose Sharks is, I think, it could be the goaltending. I think it'll come down to goaltending for not just the Sharks, but both teams.
I was going to say, I think goaltending's going to be for the Penguins as well.
Because
inexperience,
but if you look at the beginning of the Western Conference Finals, Jones was phenomenal, untouchable. But as the series went on, the lack of experience came into play because his performance went down tremendously. You know, from having shutouts to letting in a goal, 2 goals per game. And for the Penguins, the inconsistency in goaltending. Fleury and Murray.
Hey, that kind of rhymes.
I got Fleury and Murray. That does rhyme. Oh my god. Well, anyhow, before I start singing that all night, thank you. Fleury and Murray.
Fleury and Murray. Okay, continue.
See, shenanigans. I think that they will. Just making me laugh. The inconsistency between, well, do we choose Murray or do we choose Fleury? Fleury's had a concussion, that's bad. I've been there, done that, got t-shirt, ain't looking back. Murray, he's inexperienced. Who do you choose, you know? Do you choose a guy who could potentially still be recovering, or do you choose an inexperienced person? And yeah.
I think what's also going to hurt them is their offense, because if you looked at the scores between them and Tampa, they were pretty close. Like, there were 1-goal games, 2-goal games, whereas you saw San Jose, they pretty much just, it was either a really close game or a 5-2, you know? Like, there was a inconsistency with the offense there, but I think Pittsburgh needs to find an offensive groove where they're like, yep, pass it to, and tonight it was like Russ or somebody.
We don't know.
I'm not sure, but like, he was on point tonight, and that's great, but that's not going to happen where it's like, yep, just pass it to Crosby, or yep, just pass it to Gino. That's not going to happen. You know, you need a whole, not just one line, you need at least 2
The
decent
whole
line.
team needs to work for the goal rather than relying on 6 guys.
Well, I was going to say you need 2 decent lines who you know are going to attack the net, do whatever they can
To get that goal.
and then like to have that third line that's like, you know, the underdogs from the underground. Oh, what? We're on the ice, okay, and they make the best of it. And,
Yeah.
You know, and then you have the fourth line who does the same thing as the third line, or maybe you mix up the lines a little, you're gonna get completely different results, and I think they're going to like that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think also that San Jose needs to do the same thing, because they can't just rely on a few guys like Burns, Thornton, Marlowe. Working on my pronunciation. Keeping it tight. But they need to not just rely on those guys, but they need to rely on everyone else on the team, because as a team, they got to the finals. As a team, they need to play together to get the cup.
It's no
Our version of
longer
the Stanley Cup. Mitch.
right.
For Stanley.
For Stanley. It's no longer one versus all. And it's not ever going to be all versus the one. It is a team against team, and truly, I don't think you could ask for a better Stanley Cup matchup. I mean, I think the only proper way we can end this is, who do you think's gonna win? How much?
Ooh, that's a really tough question. Personally, I wish I could have seen the Bolts move on, but the past is in the past. I can't change it. Wow. I think the Sharks will win it in Game 7.
You think they're gonna go all 7?
I think so. Because both teams were, they weren't supposed to make it here. They weren't supposed to make it to the finals. If the brackets were right, it would probably be Capitals versus Stars.
Thank you for admitting that we were a superior team.
We'll get to that in the highlight reel.
Totally.
But these 2 teams were not supposed to make it. They were supposed to be eliminated first, second round.
Right away.
Right away. And so Sharks in 7, because both teams will be playing with that chip on their shoulder of, we've got something to prove, might as well do something with it. What about you?
I was gonna say Sharks in 6.
Ooh.
Because I think they're going to come out with, and I don't know exactly where they're playing the games at. I want to say, I'm not even going to make a guess, because then I'll get yelled at for making the wrong guess. But I think they're just going to somehow pull it out, and they know what to do. They defeated the Kings. They defeated the Predators. They just defeated the Blues. I think they can have this confidence, and I'm not sure if it's cocky or not, but they have this thought that they are the team, that you know what, this is our year. This is victory rising 120%. You know, this is our year. And yeah, I think they just are going to be able to do it. As long as the offense, goaltending, and defense holds itself together like it has been, you know, and it doesn't separate.
Yes. Alrighty, so now that we've covered the finals, we've covered everything, let's get a little personal, shall we?
We should.
So now what we're going to do is, unfortunately both of our teams are eliminated, but there are still some highlights of the team. We have prepared a highlight reel.
A highlight reel.
Yeah, a highlight reel. We don't know what highlights are going to be on it.
Because we made our slides separate from each other.
Yep, we made our slides separate from each other, so
I should say our highlights separated from each other.
Highlights, yeah, highlights.
So we'll probably be, you'll probably get a true taste of what Twin Hockey Talk is going to be all about. Welcome everybody to the highlight reel. As promised earlier, we're going to highlight some interesting points of our two team seasons.
So first up, I will be presenting Nashville Predators season in about 6 slides or less.
And of course, I'll be heckling in the background. Everybody's favorite heckler, would you like some speds? Not to be cocky.
And I'm Renee Set Go.
Once again, we reintroduced ourselves, so let's get started with you.
Let's get started. Okay, so the Nashville Predators.
Boo, you suck.
Oops, I need to swipe this way. So this highlight, a season full of hope. Last year, we got knocked out in the first round by the Chicago Blackhawks. So this year, we were full of hope. We had made it to the playoffs, but now we need to make it past the first round, or the Blackhawks in that case. Well, so the season went pretty well, for the most part. But
For the most part, you barely got into the playoffs.
we made it, and that's all that matters.
You're
But
still a loser.
it was always a little rocky. This is one of my favorite games of the season, the Winnipeg Jets versus the Nashville Predators, where it broke out into a lot of fights, and Renee got a shutout.
It's
So
a slobber knocker. He got broken in half.
stop the damn match. Awesome JR impressions, not. But this game is where the season started to go faulty for the Predators, where they started going hot and cold, and they never quite got, we need to stay on a hot streak, that concept. But in the middle of January, we got an awesome break. Well, everyone except for Renee, Weber, I'm out of shot, Neil, and Yosi. These 4 represented Nashville in our first ever hosted All-Star game. Pretty phenomenal.
All of a show, Nashville. Way to go.
Thank you. So this
That's
all
the only compliment I'm giving you this whole entire time.
I hate you so damn much right now. And this year was the test out of a new format with 3-on-3, divided up the conferences into 2 teams split, and the Pacific team won. Congratulations, John Scott, an MVP.
Woo! John Scott! Way to
But
go! Woo!
what the All-Star game also proved that Nashville is a legit hockey town.
I can disagree with that.
They are the legit hockey team, and they deserve to stay in Nashville. And they proved all the critics wrong. That's right. Talking to the old-time hockey fans, that Nashville roots for their hockey team, and that. So there's that.
And they booed the snot out of Patrick Kane.
Well, we made it to the playoffs, and we celebrated. We got past the first round against them Anaheim Ducks. But then we had to face a team that's in the Stanley Cup Finals called the San Jose Sharks. And unfortunately, this is where our season ended. But it wasn't in vain, people. We weren't swept. We fought until Game 7, and then something happened. But this season is not one of failure, in my opinion. The Predators made it farther than they did last year. As a result, I call it a success. Next year, maybe we'll make it to the Stanley Cup Finals. Just we need to avoid 3 teams: the Blackhawks, and the Sharks, and the Ducks, because all 3 of those teams gave us a fight. And for the Ducks, we proved
So the Stars are safe, right?
For now. That'd be cool if we played against the Stars.
Hey, it'll always be 1 versus all.
And there's always a plan B. Believe that.
Superman punch. Boom.
So, yeah.
That's all you have to say?
That's all.
Those are all the fucking highlights for your team?
Yeah.
Loser team. Wow.
Excuse me?
Way to go, Charlotte.
This is my last highlight right here. Are they cut off? No, they're not. So, last year, the Predators made it to... Oh, this is this year. This year, they made it to the second round. Last year...
We can't even read the fucking bracket.
Do you mind?
No.
Last year, they made it here. They only made it to the playoffs, and they got eliminated. For me, this shows signs of improvement, signs of success. Not with, not failure of, we're out of the playoffs. This is a sign of success for me. So for next season, I can only hope that this team learns from their experience and they go beyond the second round, beyond the wall of the quarterfinals. Now, to switch out, here's Would You Like Some Spez. What the heck is that highlight?
Well, it was one of our best games against you. We kicked your ass all season. Alrighty, so I'm going to start out. Oh, I got a nail. Sorry, we're trying to figure out this whole studio thing. But now I got some Stars highlights for you Stars fans tuning in. I'm going to show you them in about 5 slides or less. So I'm going to go back to her highlight.
Hey, don't you dare steal
I'm stealing your highlight, fucker. Anyway, we didn't even make it last year. We didn't even make it at all. And now look at us. We're just, we made it to the second round, but we're going to focus on that later, Stars folks, because we were in 6th place last year.
Woo!
We gained a little bit. Patrick Sharp, the goalie situation. We'll talk about that later. Those are just some of the highlights. Oh, son of a bitch. Fuck. How do I pause this thing? Okay. The Stars last year were in 6th place and nowhere near this. But we made it to the second round this year. That is a huge achievement, and let's just say we kind of beat up some teams along the way. Such as the Predators.
What the heck is that?
Well, considering you guys are just losers and
Hey, we're not.
I don't know, 3-1, your record was, I believe, might be 3-2 or might be 4-1 at this point.
Lost count after a while.
I did lose count, but you know what? I won every chance I defended my title, and that's all that matters to me.
Okay, coming into frame really quick.
So for those of you who don't know, we're both big wrestling fans, and so we joke about a title that's decided on the results of the Stars Predators game. I started out championship, but she stole it from me. I am and will forever be the longest reigning Twin Hockey Talk champion, and I give you the gift of a champion. Drink it in, folks. So we're gonna move on very calmly here since this is my show. I'm the Alpha Twin, but try and throw stuff at me again. I'm a lacrosse player, dude.
I will later on. Just kidding.
But American Airlines Center, I've never been there personally, but props to you guys, because you guys are always there. You guys are always loud, and
They were a phenomenal crowd.
They were a phenomenal crowd, way better than those losers up at the Pepsi Center, where it's like, Team Predators are held 3 times a day by law, and they're just so quiet. It's like, yay, they scored. Sorry, Abs fans. I don't like you guys very much, but that's because we're division rivals.
But,
So I want to thank you guys for that, and you made our team so much better, and I cannot thank you for that. So here I just have a couple of teams
and
in.
those Prince highlights. Are you trying to make this a low light reel for me? What are you doing?
Well, it's my job to make it a low light reel for you. So obviously we have Penguin, Tyler Seguin, and Jamie Benn. For those of you who aren't in,
Then again,
yeah, Benn again, Penguin.
it's a fangirl thing.
It's a fangirl thing. We beat the crap out of the Hawks every time we saw them, and same with the Preds. And
Hey!
yeah, mainly the 2 greatest season series were the Hawks and to the Preds, because feels nice beating the Hawks, and I think my co-host would actually agree with me for once in our freaking life. Isn't it nice to beat the Hawks?
Yes.
It is nice to beat the Hawks, see? She agrees with me. That was lovely. Is that what you think of the Stars? You want to drop the gloves and go?
That's what I think of the Hawks.
Oh,
Excuse me.
everybody thinks of that about the Hawks. Okay, we're just going to move on.
We're gonna move on.
All right, so I alluded to this earlier. We had some phenomenal players. So, I don't even remember who I put. Is that horrible? Oh, that's Jason Demers? I don't know how to pronounce his name. Demers, I've heard it both ways. These guys, this line right here, they were phenomenal. They were absolutely amazing. So is that guy right there, John Klingberg, always coming through in the clutch, especially in OT. You know, he'd break away and, oh, Klingberg scored, woo! Or, as Dallas fans put it, woo! Woo! We had an interesting goalie situation, which brought its ups and downs. Antiniemi and Kyrie, I think it's Kyrie, Lettinen, or as Dallas fans unfortunately call him sometimes, Lettinen. He was.
Let it in.
I started to make a Let It Go parody. I was really sad at that point. But they made an amazing goaltending duo, each getting 25 wins. But that's
What?
one of the issues. Yeah.
That's absurd.
Well, it's a musical. Kidding.
We're
Kidding.
not a musical.
We're not in a musical. But that's no time for shenanigans at all.
Yeah.
And there's not much I can really say about these guys other than they're amazing. I know, Nemo, you kind of lost it towards the end of the season, but I know, hey, if we trade you or if we don't, man, you're going to be awesome wherever you are. And don't worry, you know, it's a new season. Yes, it is. Yeah. And, Kari, thank you for being with us for so long, and we promise we'll make it to the promised land one day. So my next slide is, well, I don't remember why I put this in there. That's horrible. It's been a while.
These are your highlights, idiot. You should know this.
This is like the Empress Asylum, like, yeah. So, for those of you who don't know, my favorite player is not Jason Spezza. Although Spezzy is one of my favorite guys, you point him at, I'm killing you. But it's that guy right there, Valery, I've heard it pronounced many ways, Nichinskin. He was in one of the first games that I actually watched when I was getting into hockey. Other than like the Winter Classics and stuff like that. And,
Dad, can I point him out?
you're a jerk. I pointed him out already. So he was one of the reasons why I started to like the Dallas Stars. And this is my first full season of watching hockey. And granted, he kind of had an up and down season, but Val, I know you're going to be amazing next year. Just know that I believe in you. And Jamie and Tyler and Yogi Paka and whoever else I can see on there who I don't know. Jan Mark, you are lit this year. I have one more thing, and then we can. There we go. So we did have a couple of all-stars in Nashville. We had 3, one being our coach, Lindy Ruff. Ruff! You jackass. Jamie Benn and Tyler Sagan. Unfortunately, the Central didn't make it far, but let's face it, Nashville did one thing right, and that's they booed Patrick Kane. I don't like the Hawks either, folks.
Neither do I.
So, yeah, that's literally all I have.
And you guys made it to the playoffs. What happened?
Well, unfortunately, we got eliminated in the second round.
In the second round, so who really is the...
I am, jackass. Shut up. Shut up.
That's it. We're done with this highlight. We're done.
Okay, we're cutting this. We're cutting. You know what? Forget this. I'm turning off the TV. Start your message to the team over again.
Stars, I want to thank you so much for making my first season enjoyable watching it. You guys have improved so much for not even being in the playoffs to getting in there, not only with just like a wild card or barely in like the Minnesota Wild and the Predators, but you guys were the number 1 seed. Not just that, but you were the number 1 seed overall in the West, which meant home ice advantage, which didn't work out for us, but that's okay. So thank you for that, and thanks for making me the hashtag social outcast to my family.
Alrighty, Predators, thank you so much for making my first season as a hockey fan phenomenal through all the ups, downs, and my superstitions. Thank you so much for letting me become, well, a fan of you. I have a feeling that next year will be even greater than this year. Hopefully we can maybe go to the next round.
No, that's not gonna happen.
No, not happening. So,
Well, that's all we had for the first episode.
wow.
I'm surprised we made it through, Sharpie.
Yay!
Yay! We made it through!
Yay!
Woo!
So, this will be the last time you see us with a set like this.
Our next episode is a ride-along episode because we have a 16-hour car ride ahead of us.
And
So we want to bring you guys along so you can see kind of all the nuttiness and get to know us a little bit better.
Which will probably include more shenanigans because being in a car with her for 16 hours.
I'm the driver.
And I'm the DJ.
Driver picks the music, shotgun shuts the cake hole, right?
Nope.
Okay. So this has been Would You Like Some Spez?
And I'm Renee Psycho.
Thank you for tuning in to Twin Hockey Talk.
Thanks, guys, for having us. Wow, can't believe we did it.
Carry on, my wayward son!